It was the attack that finally destroyed German defences on the Eastern Front. Operation Bagration was launched by the Red Army on the 22nd of June 1944, 3 years to the day when German forces
You own a
first
cat? How the
invaded
fuck
the
will you
Soviet
know?
Union.
Yeah,
Just 2
I
weeks
own
after D-Day
your
in
mother's
France,
pussy
Bagration
every other
would turn out
Friday
to be
night.
the real
Bitch.
turning point in the war when the Red Army destroyed the Germans' Army Group Center, a collection of 3 armies, utterly shattering the German front line and allowing the Red Army to penetrate over the following weeks Lithuania, Poland, and Romania. Army Group Center was struck by several waves of Soviet assaults over a period of 2 months, resulting in the destruction of 28 out of 34 divisions. The Germans suffering 450,000 casualties, while a further 300,000 German troops ended up cut off and isolated in the Kurland pocket.
Gotta rinse my plate.
The deep Soviet penetrations and German losses forced Hitler to transfer divisions from other sectors of the Eastern Front, weakening these sectors, which would also be attacked in turn. In the long term, these offensives would place the Red Army in a position from which to strike at Berlin itself by early 1945. With the Germans having to simultaneously contend with the Allied breakout from Normandy, the two-front war now meant that the writing was on the wall for Hitler's Germany, as it lacked the military strength following the Bagration losses to fend off the Red Army in the east and also restore the balance in the west. The Germans stripped peripheral fronts like Italy and Norway of personnel and performed miracles in raising new units, and stabilized the Eastern Front temporarily, but the loss of experienced officers, NCOs and men due to Bagration was irreplaceable. The Soviets, overjoyed with the tremendous success of Bagration, ensured that the Soviet people understood the scale of the German defeat. A visual demonstration was deemed the most impactful, and a massive Parade of the Vanquished, as the Soviets called it, was organized in Moscow to show the Soviet people and the world the enormous scale of the Red Army's victory. Before Bagration had completely finished, 57,000 German prisoners of war were forced marched through central Moscow. Operation Great Waltz, as the Soviets codenamed the parade, was a huge logistical operation. Firstly, from among the hundreds of thousands of prisoners, the Soviets selected 57,000 Germans that were actually capable of marching several kilometers, and set up field kitchens to ensure that these selected groups of POWs were well fed prior to the march. And it's common knowledge that the Red Army was not usually so accommodating to German POWs. But importantly, the selected Germans
black
were
and
not
white.
allowed to wash
That doesn't
or
help us
tidy
at all.
themselves or their uniforms up before the parade. For propaganda reasons, the Germans had to look humbled and defeated before the world's eyes. Operation Great Waltz commenced on the 14th of July 1944, when the first trainloads of German POWs began arriving in Moscow from their temporary POW cages near the battlefields. The 57,000 men were to live at the Dynamo Stadium and the Moscow Hippodrome for the duration of their stay in the capital.